So I'm Robert Young and I own Jim's Handyman in the North Island. I got involved about 2.5 years ago when I started doing due diligence on the system and understanding it, and invested about 2 years ago. Well, I had a very good friend of mine. I watched him suffer through running a handyman business as an independent for 20 years. And super technical, very capable, but he struggled to scale. He struggled to get control of his diary. He struggled to collect money. He struggled to keep customers happy, because being by yourself is very lonely. And I saw all of the shortcomings that he had in his business were pretty much eliminated by if he had had Jim's support. If he had Jim's support over those 20 years, he'd be wealthy now instead of, he's done okay, but boy, it was hard work. And I saw the way Jim's Handyman really supported everything he was doing. And then I thought, well, let's check on the other person in this equation, the customer. And the customer wins a lot by dealing with Jim's rather than an independent too. So the essence of a good business deal is everybody's winning. Right, so everyone's winning, everyone's happy, and that's the essence of good business and business that works in the long term. Right, a lot of businesses do this, right? We're in the business of just steady as she goes. And Jim's Handyman as an arena is also ideal, because New Zealand has terrible weather for houses. It's got houses from every decade and every generation made to various quality. They're the most expensive thing everyone owns, and as everyone knows, pricing in New Zealand's pretty crazy. So these things have got to be maintained. The houses could halve in value, we're still going to be busy. So it's very robust as a business economically. It's very low risk. And it's a service that's close to people's hearts, because everyone's crazy about housing, particularly in Auckland, but also the rest of the country. So it's an ideal spot to be in. The other main reason I chose Handyman is what I realised is that coming from a corporate background, I was working with all these corporate people, but all my mates outside of work were tradie type people. And I thought, well, why am I hanging out with corporate people all day or most of my life when really I prefer the company of tradie type people? So I tried to bring them both together, and have done that by doing this and launching Handyman in New Zealand. And the word excitement gets bounded around a lot, but I'm genuinely excited and really happy to be growing this. It's a fantastic business to be in. If I talk about being a franchisor to anyone else who's thinking about investing in something similar, the great thing about this business for everyone concerned is there's no premises, there's no stock, and there's no staff. So the premises, when that landlord wants his 20 grand every month, I don't miss that at all. You haven't got hundreds of thousands of stock just sitting around getting old. And the staff, you might want to run a small team, but that's all you'll ever need. And as anyone who knows who's been a leader before, staff equal problems and headaches. And especially these days, it's super hard to find people. So therefore you need to have that redundancy in your business, and this has all that. So there's a low price to entry, super low risk to it, high demand. And then we look at the competitive situation, and most of our competitors just call themselves handymen, and you're a handyman. So the expectations of the customer can be quite low, and there's certainly a market out there for cheap, but what's missing is quality services that people can count on, have a proper warranty, know they're going to get a certain level of backup and support from the business they're doing business with. It's not just an individual. So for all these reasons, I decided to invest. So we put our first franchisee on the ground in June 2021, so that's about 18 months ago. We've now got a real solid team of 14 businesses in Auckland, with 2 more joining shortly, and by the time you're watching this video, that number's probably gone up. And then in the rest of the country, we've got a smattering, because up to now we've really been focused on Auckland, not for any other reason than logistically, and it's half the economy, so we wanted to focus our marketing spend here first. But now we have 3 people in Hamilton, we have a presence in Invercargill, Timaru, and we've got a strengthening position in Christchurch. There's 4 people in Christchurch now. So my mind's just starting to turn to the rest of the country now. I think probably if you look at an example I'd like to talk about in Auckland, we've got 100 Jim's mowing in Auckland. Now we're only going to have 36 Jim's Handyman, because what we're not looking for really, you can come in with us and just be a handyman, that's fine. And you can have a nice lifestyle, you can make good money, and you can be happy. But what I'd really like to see is everyone owns a handyman services business, which is quite different from just being a handyman. So I've restricted the territories to 36, so that everyone's got plenty of room to grow and expand and build their teams. So I've limited the amount of franchises on purpose, and I'll continue to do that throughout the country to make sure everyone's got plenty of room. because we want every franchise to be financially free, and the only way you're going to do that is a bit of scale, a little bit of scale. You don't have to have big teams, but 3 or 4 people in your team, a community of subcontractors, you've got your friendly electrician, you've got your friendly plumber, because you've got the work coming to you from Google and Facebook and all the rest of it via the Jim's brand, and you can distribute that and be making money in several ways. And like in most businesses, multiple income streams is better than one, that's for sure. And then to take the risk down even further, each franchisee has hundreds of customers, so you're never beholden to a certain customer. Well, Handyman's a great catch-all, so I'm talking to people who want to join us. And one of the great strengths of Handyman is we capture such a broad base of work, and we can pivot our marketing depending on the work and what the market is doing. So I had a recent example where Jordan James, one of our franchisees in West Auckland, went and fixed some window latches for a lovely lady out in Glen Eden. Next thing you know, he's done $62,000 worth of work for her because he replaced the 2 bay windows. He built her a deck, a pergola and some steps up to a new gate. So the capture can be real wide, and that gives you a lot of flexibility in your business and takes a lot of risk out of the business. As anyone knows who's been in a business where you're superseded by a better product, it can be heartbreaking because it doesn't matter how much and how long you've worked, someone's come up with a better mousetrap, that's you. But in Handyman, no matter what happens in the weather, no matter what happens in the market, we can pivot, we can move, we're capturing a wide range of work. And it always goes back to, it's the most expensive thing everyone owns. People love their houses. Not only do we get to do handy jobs, but we actually add value to houses as well, make them worth more money. So that's always going to be in demand.